Good morning. I don't know about you, but I'm so thankful that He loves us. And I'm so thankful that you're here with us this morning on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. And every once in a while, we like to bring our whole church family together for a family service. And that's what we're doing today, from the very youngest to the very oldest. And we like to talk about a virtue. And a virtue is something that God can do in our heart that will change the world around us. And every month, our elementary students learn a different virtue. And so we're going to share that virtue with you this morning. And usually I'm up here with my co-host, Paul. And usually I'm really just here to keep him in line because he has a few issues, if you can recall. But anyway, this month, he had this fabulous idea of how he wanted to present the virtue this morning. So I thought, okay, why not? It seemed like a good idea. So I thought I'd just let him take it away this morning. So here's Johnny. Here's Johnny.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people named after their parents' favorite food, it's time to play the game show that is sweeping this very church. That's right, it's time to play Great Expectations. And here's your host, the wonderful, the genius, hysterical Paul.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this great episode of Great Expectations. Today, we have another exciting game for you, the audience members, and you're going to have an opportunity to practice this month's special virtue right here in this church, at your home, and every day of the week. Right, Shelley?
Yes.
Isn't she great, folks?
Aww. Thank you.
Okay, no talking. All right, here's what we're going to do. Are you ready, Shelley, to help me present this month's special virtue?
Yes.
Are you ready? Are you ready? All right. On the count of three, let's all do it together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Responsibility. Let's say it with me. Let's explain it. Showing you can be trusted with what's expected of you. That's right. Excellent. And you know what? Today you're going to have an opportunity to play a game that will help you understand what a responsibility is all about. Johnny, tell them what we're playing.
Well, Paul, today we are playing a game that'll help you find out what's most important.
Sounds very interesting.
It is, Paul.
Oh, very good, very good, very good. Well, I think we should play the game. Why don't we find some contestants? Are you ready to play? Come on, put your hands together. Okay, I'm going to need a couple of volunteers. So I'm going to grab 2 volunteers. I'm going to grab you right there, please, and you right here. Okay, come on up here, guys. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to ask you to stand behind these tables here. You can stand behind one, stand behind the other one. There you go. And here's what I need you to do. There are a number of items that are inside that bucket, okay? And when I say go, what I'm going to do is give you an opportunity to line these things up in order of, you ready? Most important to least important. Do you understand? So most important on this side, least important on this side. Most important, least important. Okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to do so. So when the 30 seconds are up, we're going to stop the clock. You're going to step away from the table, and we're going to see what you did. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to see what those items are inside the box? How about you? All right, we're ready. Okay, Shelley, here we go. All the contestants will be trying to put these following items in order from most important to least important. Let's see what we got. We have a bottle of water. Yes, we do. We have a remote control. Yes, we do. We have a bag of chips. Okay, we have a bag of chips, ladies and gentlemen. We have a bag of chips. We also have a pair of socks, ladies and gentlemen. Pair of socks. Okay, what else do we have in that box? We have some soap. We have soap as well. There you go. And we have the Bible. Okay, as I can see, we already have the 30-second clock ready. So here we are. Are we ready to go? Don't touch the items until the clock starts. Are you prepared? Are you ready? Yes? Okay, on the count of 3, let's see. 1, 2, 3, go! Keep going. Put it on.
Let's cheer them on a little bit as they do the work up here.
I don't know what you got. You got a couple, 20 seconds to go. Are you sure you want to put them in that order? Or are you positive? Okay, they're getting ready. They're getting ready. Okay, here we go. Keep it going. Here we got one more item in there. There we go. Oh, here we go. We got 10 seconds, 7 seconds to go. Here we are. 3, 2, 1. All right, step away from the tables. Come on, step back here. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me why you put these things in the order that you did. So let's go. Let's start with you. Why did you put those things in that order?
Because the Bible is most important and TV isn't that important.
Very nice. She has the TV remote control at the end of the line, at least important, and the Bible as most important. Very nice. Okay, what about you? Why did you put these things in the order that you put them in?
I put them in this order because the Bible is more important than many of the things that you have. But if you have water, then you can live longer, and you don't have to go without food.
Very good.
And I put the juice after the socks because the juice isn't really that important, but you
Right.
do need the nutrients inside of the juice.
That's true, yes.
And I put these 2 things at the end
Keep going.
because they're not really good for you.
They're not that good for you. You know what? Thank you very much, guys. You both sound very convincing. Thank you very, yeah, give them a hand. Let's give them a hand. Very nice. You both sound very convincing, so I tell you what, you know what? You both win. Absolutely, you both win. Johnny, tell them what they've won.
Each person has won a fantastic, fabulous VBS CD.
There you go. All right, fantastic, fantastic. You may have a seat. Go right ahead. There you go. Go on down. There you go. Well done. Good job.
Paul,
Yes.
I have a question.
Don't tell me. You want to know. Sorry. You want to know why we're doing this in the first place,
Yes,
right? What's
yes.
the point of the game?
Yes.
Well, it's actually quite simple. See, we all value things. We think that some things are more important than others. It's just the way it goes. And as you can see on that list, I mean, everyone had similar things in order, but it wasn't exactly the same because we all value different things.
Ah, got it.
Right. And today we want to talk as a church about things that are valuable to all of us. And we want to talk about ways that we can start to think about things and we can start to value the same things.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about that.
Don't talk about it right now because see what
Okay.
in the business we call this the teaser.
Ah, I see.
That's right.
I got it. Thank you.
You see, we all place a value on things that are important to us. And what happens is we show the people around us what's important to us by the things that we do, by the way that we spend our money, by the way that we treat other people. But you know what? We have a responsibility here at Compass Point to each other as family.
Ah, I see. Makes sense.
I thought you would. You know what?
What?
That's all we have time for. My name is Paul Eastwood, and I'm signing off. Thank you very much for coming and joining us as we played this game. Great expectations. Have a great day, and remember, be responsible.
Thank you.
Note to self, next time, don't put so much heart into art.
Are you in here? My touch phone has something wrong with it, and since you're all techie and stuff, I thought maybe you could...
Hi, Cammy.
Oh, hi, Gordo. Oh, my goodness.
Whoa, are you okay?
Yeah, it's just not every day you see a giant... whatever you are walking around.
Oh, well, do you like it? It's for my mom. I want to tell her how amazing she is and pick up her spirits. So I'm going to sing our special song I wrote about how she's the sweetest thing in my life.
Well, that's very sweet, Gordo. I'm sure she'll... remember it always.
Really? You think?
I know, I'll never forget it.
Good. I was worried it was too much. Well, I'm off. Me. Mamma mia, you're awesome and you are so... Ah! It's a disaster! It's terrible! My life as a director is a wrap. Take 5, people!
Whoa, Tyler, what's wrong?
Oh, my latest film. It's a complete shambles. Everyone has quit, leaving me to finish the film all by myself.
Wow, tough break.
Well, did anyone tell you why they left? Well, what is it?
Oh, they all said that I was rude, mean, and insensitive as a director. That I didn't care about them. That I didn't invest in them.
Well, are you?
Well, no, they're just actors, and we all know how oversensitive actors can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, are you sure you weren't being too mean? You know, you can get kind of...
Passionate.
Yes, passionate. You can get carried away and say things you don't mean.
Listen, anytime an actor did or said something wrong, I'd simply say, listen, you guys, we need to do this again. I think you have a better performance in you.
Well, that doesn't sound...
Because believe me, I had tons of actors audition, and I'd hate to come to the realization that you guys are this bad.
Okay, that's...
Oh, and sometimes I'd say, I've seen better acting on Ontario's Funniest Home Videos. Are you guys even alive?
Wow, that's...
Oh, and one time I said, I'd have been better off hiring Keanu Reeves.
Whoa, Tyler, you have gone too far. I thought a director's job was to inspire and support their actors. You have a responsibility. You should be, like, changing their lives.
That's what I was trying to do. I'm just no good at it.
Listen, Tyler, it's about choosing words carefully and speaking words of life. For instance, earlier when I saw Gordon in his giant heart suit, I was encouraging.
She was.
Instead of telling him how hideous it looked, I took the chance to validate his effort.
Hideous?
Your mom's going to love it.
Listen, that sounds all fine and dandy, but you know me. I can't filter my words that fast. Let's face it, I'm doomed. My film career is doomed. I'll be a laughingstock. Like the actors I previously hired.
Tyler!
Wait, I have an idea. You bark all your orders and notes at your cast and crew through this thing, right?
Yeah, so I can be heard.
Well, I don't know if it's possible, but I might be able to mount a word filter onto this thing.
A word filter?
Yeah, a device that'll take all the negative things you say and replace them with positive, uplifting words.
You can do that?
Well, I've been playing around with voice modulation and controlling sound spectrum in my spare time. I've been trying to make something that'll make me sound like Darth Vader. But, from what I've learned, it could be possible to filter out and change certain words.
And it really works?
Well, you know what they say. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Stop. Tyler, what do you think? Give it a shot?
What have I got to lose?
Well, everything.
I know!
Okay, so...
I'll get to work.
Responsibility, showing that you can be trusted with what's expected of you. What a great theme. What a great axiom. What a great reminder for us this morning. To think that you and I are responsible for our words, for our attitudes, for our choices, for all the decisions we make, for our part in relationships, even our relationship with God. We are responsible. And we want to be trustworthy with what's expected of us. So I want you to think, what is expected of you? Now, this is Mother's Day, and it's our family service, and we're all here together as one large family. And I want to turn your attention just for a few minutes to a passage which talks about our responsibility, both as a family, particularly as parents, but also as an entire community of faith. And so I want to turn your attention to Deuteronomy chapter 6. It's a classic passage on the responsibility we have as parents and as a community. And as you're turning there, or if you want to just listen as I read the passage, listen to this as Moses gives instruction to the people of Israel. He says this in verse 1, "Now this is the commandment, those statutes and the rules that the Lord your God commanded me to teach you, that you may do them in the land to which you are now going over to possess it, that you may fear the Lord your God and your sons' sons by keeping all his statutes and all his commandments, which I have commanded you all the days of your life, and that all the days of your life will be long. Hear therefore, O Israel, and be careful to do them, that it may go well with you, and that you may multiply greatly. As the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised, you will go to the land flowing with milk and honey." Let me just set the context here. 40 years earlier, in the book of Exodus, we have a record of the law. As God gives the law, the instructions, the guidelines, the principles of life that he wanted his people to live by. And then, as you know, because of their lack of faith, because of their doubting, they end up wandering in the wilderness for some 40 years. We are now at the end of those 40 years. And they're at the edge of the promised land. They're about to go into the promised land, this land of plenty, this land of hope, this land of opportunity and promise. And so Moses says to them, we've finished our wanderings. And now to a whole new generation of people, he says, listen, I want to remind you of the law of God. And so the word Deuteronomy actually means second law. And so what Deuteronomy really is a whole series of teachings or lessons or sermons or messages that Moses is giving to the people of Israel to remind them of the law that they had been given 40 years earlier. So it's a reminder, it's a curriculum really. And he wants to give them core instruction, core responsibility. So with that in view, look at verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. This is often called the Shema. This, from the word hear, O Israel. The Lord your God is one. This was like a statement of faith, a profession of faith, really. Because you see, they were going into the land of Canaan. And in the land of Canaan, they all believed in many gods. All kinds of gods. And the people of Canaan worshipped all these different gods. But these gods were unpredictable. These gods were vengeful. These gods were angry. These gods didn't cooperate together. So one day you'd be praying to this God, but you didn't know if it was aligned with the desires of this other God, and your life could turn out into a mess. And so what Moses is saying, look, we don't believe in many gods. We believe in one God. Hear, O Israel. Hear. The Lord your God is one. And he can be trusted, and he can be depended, because he is a righteous God. He's not fickle. He's not impulsive. He's a righteous God, and you can trust him, and you can depend on him, and you don't have to feel insecure in a world of beliefs of many gods. So with that in mind, then he gives some very particular, very, very specific instruction. He says this, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. Here he says, love God. Love God with everything you are and with everything you have. This is absolutely foundational for parents. Because what he's saying here, Moses is saying is, God is a relational God. And God wants to enter into a relationship with you. And so love God with absolutely everything that you are. Jesus said in John 14:15, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. And so we love God not just on Sunday, not just when we gather like this, not just when we pray, not just when God answers our prayers, not just when life is going good, but we love God with our every breath, in every moment. And for parents, this is absolutely foundational. I love the image that the series we've just come out of, 1 Month to Live, the imagery of how when you're on an airplane, you first put the oxygen on yourself, if need be, and then you put it on your family. In the same way, we have to tend to our own spiritual lives because we're role models. And so our children need to see our love and our devotion and our humility and our dependence on God and our dependence on God reflected in our prayer life. And so as we live out our love for God, that can't help but be a model, an infectious model to our families. Love the Lord your God with all of your mind, soul, and strength. And then he goes on. He says, and these words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You know what he's saying? Tattoo God's truth on the very core of your being. Tattoo it, emboss it, glue it so that it can't come off, so that it won't peel off, so it won't erode, so that it won't drift away. Tattoo it on your heart, on the very core of your beings, because the way the Bible uses the word heart is very different the way our culture uses the word heart. We talk about heart as, how's your heart? How do you feel? But the Bible uses the word heart to describe the very core driver of your life, the nucleus, the center of your motives, the center of your thinking, the center of your decision making, the center of your feelings, all wrapped up. And he says, emboss, tattoo truth on the very core of who you are so that it never drifts and so that it never leaves. And that's why as a church, we call ourselves a Bible church. And that's why as a church, we value so highly our own processing, our own interaction, our own reading of God's Word. And so that's why we encourage every one of us to be involved in our own personal Bible reading, our own personal quiet time, our own personal devotions, where we are letting the Word of God imprint itself on the very core of our being. So he tells parents, love God with everything you are and everything you have. Tattoo God's truth in the very core of your being. And then he gives us one more responsibility. He says, verse 7, you shall teach them. These same principles that have been tattooed on your heart, you shall teach them. When you sit in the house, and when you walk along the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise, and you shall bind them as signs on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. And what he's saying here is now transfer truth. Transfer God's truth to the next generation, formally and informally. And so this responsibility is given first and foremost primarily to parents. It's our responsibility to see our children instructed with God's truth, formally and informally. And then there's a larger responsibility of the Christian community. And Shelley's going to talk about that in just a few moments. But I want you to think about our responsibility as parents. Now, as we seek to transfer that truth that we've experienced, that we've processed, and that we're modeling, as we seek to transfer that truth to the next generation, we do so in structured ways and less structured ways. And of course, that has to be age appropriate, doesn't it? And so when our children were very young, we spent a considerable time every night before bed in reading. And the Bible and Bible stories were always the anchor, and then other stories, of course, with moral principle and value to it all. But those are the beginnings of instilling and implanting and transferring truth to the next generation. And then as children grow, as they mature, you look for those teachable moments, those teachable opportunities outside of the classroom as you help them process truth. So when children go through disappointment, you help them process disappointment with the reminder that God doesn't let us down, but life sometimes does. And as children find betrayal and friends that turn on them, you process loyalty and you remind them, but God, He's always loyal to us. And when children are hurt and they struggle with bitterness and anger, we walk them through the principles and truths of forgiveness and how liberating it is to forgive. And so we walk them through manners, and we walk them through morals and through ethics and through life principles. And they grow in it. On one occasion when our daughter was very young, and I think I told this story to you many, many years ago, but when our daughter was very young, she had come home from school very concerned, very, very worked up because somebody at school got into big trouble because of a word they said. And so she told Linda what the word was. She didn't even tell the word right. And so she said, well, you know, Linda used it as a teachable moment to instruct her on how important our words are. And we saw a verse just a little bit earlier on how unwholesome word cuts deep, but how words that edify and build up are so powerful and life-breathing. And so we use that as a teachable opportunity to talk about language and about how language can hurt or how it can build up. And so after that significant teachable moment, she then asks, Mom, can you tell me all the bad words so I don't say one by accident? But embracing those teachable moments. And so whether it's after watching a program, after watching a movie, to use some critical thinking skills, because you're trying to transfer truth, the truths that we've been impacted with, to the next generation. This is our responsibility. This is the responsibility of parents. This is our responsibility, and this is our mission, and this too is the mission of the church.
Thank you, Michael. We're going to go back in just a minute to Deuteronomy, but I just wanted to spend just a moment to give a definition of family this morning. And I know that when we come together in this context, the word family has a different connotation for everyone. And for some people, the word family is a happy word that brings back great memories, and it's so positive. And for other people, when you say family, it brings up emotions that are difficult to deal with. Even days today like Mother's Day, we recognize are hard for people. So when we gather together like this and we talk about family, we're talking about a bigger family picture. And so today, as we sit here with our children in our junior highs, our senior highs, our young adults, our adults and our seniors, from the very youngest to the very oldest, we want you to know that you belong and that we are a family of families. And there's an author called Seth Godin, and he has a book called Tribes, and he says in his book that human beings can't help it. We need to belong. One of the most powerful of our survival mechanisms is to be part of a tribe, to contribute to and take from a group of like-minded people. Well, this morning we sit here as a group of like-minded people, and I want you to know that you belong. So if you're here this morning and you're married, or you're single, or you're remarried, or if you're divorced, you belong. And if you have children, or you don't have children, if you've assumed responsibility for your children's children, or if you care for the children of others, you belong. And if you live in your dream house, or you live in a one-room apartment, or even if you don't have a place that you can call your home right now, you belong. And if you're trapped by a financial crisis, or if you have health limitations, or if you're suffering through things that nobody even knows about right now in your life, you belong. And if you've been connected here for many, many generations, or if you come once in a while, or if you have been transformed by the life-giving love of Jesus and you're completely on fire for him, or even if you're still searching for his purpose in your life, you belong. We're responsible for each other. We're important to each other, and we're a family of families. And you just have to read what Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 12 when he talks about how we're the body of Christ, and all of us have a part in that. And I just want you to know this morning that you belong. And so as we take a look together at Deuteronomy 6, there are things that apply to all of us as a family of families. And recently, I started running, and I don't say that to be all like braggy or anything, because actually it's quite horrifying to me. I am like the most unathletic, uncoordinated, clumsy person ever. So the idea of going out of my house and running down the street is rather terrifying, not to mention that people I work with and that go to the church live in my neighborhood. So that makes it even worse. So I put on my giant sunglasses, I put in my earbuds, and off I go. I pretend I'm invisible. And I have some goals that got me started in this. Obviously, I want to be more healthy. I wanted to challenge myself in a new area that I haven't before. And ultimately, I would love to run a 5K, preferably one that takes place in the middle of the night. I can wear camouflage or something. But another reason why I started this was because I've been thinking recently, and it's kind of shocking to me, but there's going to come a time when my children are not going to live in my house anymore. It's so heartbreaking. But as they're getting older, I'm trying to think of lessons. I'm trying to lead as a parent with the end in mind of things that I want to impart in their life. So through my running adventures right now, I want to show them that sometimes you cannot like something at all, but it's good for you. And that goals can be accomplished, and you feel good when you finish something. And even when you drag your sad, sorry self up 2 flights of stairs at night and you don't think you're going to make it all the way because you're in so much pain, it's still worth it and it still feels good. These are things, and there's other things too as parents, my husband and I, that we're trying to impart into our kids as we lead with the end in mind. And I love that Moses, going back to Deuteronomy 6, as he takes this moment at the end of his leadership era in the final address to the children of Israel, he's still leading them with the end in mind. And as Michael said, Moses reminded them to love God with everything that you are. Tattoo his truths upon your heart. And you know what? He could have stopped there. That would have been a really good lesson to leave them with. But he took it a step further, and he challenged them then to transfer everything that he had learned to the next generation. And Moses knew that what the children of Israel had learned through their wanderings in the desert were going to be crucial as they went forward under a new leader in the Promised Land. It wasn't over, and they needed that reminder. And I like that Moses doesn't just, pull all the parents aside. He doesn't just pull all the leaders aside. He addresses the whole nation. He says, "Hear, O Israel." It was important enough that he had to tell it to everybody. And what I really think that Moses is saying, and something that we can learn from, he's saying that we are responsible. So how do we translate this into our current context? Well, right now, strategically, we're developing a whole model of family ministry that's solely based on leading with the end in mind. We want to have a plan from preschool to elementary, junior high, senior high, young adult, where we're leading with the end in mind. We have spiritual goals that we want for our kids, relational goals. We want to see them connected. And this is so important to all of us because we are responsible. And it's not just about programming, which is important, and it's not just about a few key leaders, which is also very important, but we need to create a culture where we are all invested, excuse me, and committed to leading the generations behind us. We have to widen our circles. I love that phrase, widen our circles. We have to make sure that we have multiple godly influences that are speaking into multiple lives, that are creating genuine relationship, because that's going to create genuine community, and that community is what's going to keep us connected. I had a student ask me a few weeks ago, came up to me and said, "How do I get a mentor?" And I had a few reactions to this. At first I was like, wow, it's great that someone's seeking that out. That's awesome. Then my next thought was, wow, we have to be better at facilitating that, and how can we help with that? And my third thought was, how many others are out there looking for a mentor, looking for someone that wants to speak into their life, looking for someone that wants to walk alongside them and invest in them? How many more people are out there, young people looking for that? And you know what? We are responsible. And relationship encourages engagement. And there's a book called Sticky Faith by Kara Powell, and she gives a really, really great illustration that I read this week that really kind of resonated with me. She writes, "On my dad's side of the family, I'm the oldest of 15 cousins. There were too many of us to fit around one table at my family gathering, so my grandparents came up with a clever solution: 2 tables. The first table was the adult table, the second table was the kids' table. The contrast between the 2 tables was stark. The adults ate in the dining room, and we ate in the TV room. The adults had real china. We had paper plates, or if we were lucky, plastic. The adult table had sparkling and interesting conversations. Our table had rolls flying through the air and Jell-O being snorted. 2 separate tables, 2 very different experiences." And as I read this, it kind of brought back to me, like when I have family dinners at my house and my whole family comes over, we have an adult table and then I do a kids table. But I noticed that there's a time when the kids, they want to move to the adult table. They don't want to be at the kids' table anymore. They want to be part of a larger circle. They want to be involved and included in those conversations. You know what? We have to come together and we have to be sitting at the same table. And there are times when we're going to be separate, but there's times when we have to come together, and it's important that we do. And I was thinking back over my own life, and I was thinking about people that widened their circle and invited me to sit at their table. And I thought about a family in Welland, and they're the Boyd family. And I met them when I was in grade 9, and they just loved children. They loved children's ministry. They painted a big purple bus, and they would go around on Saturdays into the community, and they invited me to come sit at their table. They widened their circle, and they let me be part of their life. And that's where my heart for children came, and my heart for serving, and my heart for ministry. And then I think about another person who widened their circle and invited me to sit at their table. And that was a young mom named Heather in my church. And she had 4 children under the age of 5 and lots of different life pressures. And I watched her as a university student. I watched her just handle her life with grace. And I watched her go through situations, and she was just a mentor and example to me. And when I found out that I was expecting my first child, she's one of the first people that I went to tell, because she had made that investment in me. She had widened her circle and invited me to her table. And I think of a youth pastor that I had who just, kind of threw me out there and just let me lead when I didn't really know what I was doing, but he was there to support me and encourage me. And, he widened his circle. He let me come sit at his table. And I just want you to take a minute, and I want you to just think about that. I want you to think about your circles and your tables. Who's sitting at them? How can you widen them? How can you invest in others? Because when we have personal, committed relationships with Jesus, that's amazing, and that's, of course, the most important thing. But when we combine that with invested relationships with other godly people for the lives of our next generation kids, that's going to be profound on their lives. So obviously, I'm not Moses, and obviously you're not the children of Israel, but I do believe that we're all living our own story, and we're part of God's bigger story. And the next couple weeks, going forward, we're going to be hearing more about our visions and our values of Compass Point. But I would just like to make, if I could, a declaration this morning over Compass Point. And it goes something like this. Compass Point. Love God with everything that you are, and tattoo his truths upon your heart. Take all the things that God has done in your life the wisdom and the experience that has been imparted to you, and transfer that to the next generation. Lead with the end in mind. Widen your circles of influence and impact. Invite others to come and sit at your table, because we are responsible. And we, together, as the body, we are Compass Point.
So how did we meet? You tell us, Hannah. When did you first remember meeting us?
At baseball.
Yeah, that's right. Remember we were there and you were our cheerleader. And then we kind of bonded over a pet hermit crab.
Yes, I had hermit crab pets that I let Leanne care for, and we enjoyed them, but maybe thought it was time to pass them on to someone else who might really enjoy them also.
Yeah.
Took her for your birthday, wasn't it? Was it your birthday?
I think so.
Yeah, we got you some hermit crab pets last year. Yeah, and we just have gotten to spend time and get to know each other that way.
Yep, every Sunday we get to catch up, right?
Me and my friend Victoria come up and find Marley.
Yep, my little baby. So Hannah's going to be our future babysitter, which is great, and we love seeing you every week, right?
It's nice having that intergenerational friendship, I guess, happening, and this is important, I think, for you younger guys to know that there's older people that are, interested in your life and we care about you.
We have had the privilege of having the junior high and the senior high to our house for the last 4 or 5 years for poolside Bible studies in the summer. When they would come, I would go and hide in the house because I didn't want to interfere and I felt uncomfortable. But 2 years ago, I decided that I needed to interact a little more with these kids because I wanted to value them and I wanted them to know that we were interested. The last 2 summers I've been out there with them and I've had just such a wonderful time getting to know them. I really enjoyed the high school girls especially, and I've said to them that in the foyer when I see them, sometimes I pass by them and I don't really know that they're there, and I want them to know that I want to say hi. So I've said to them, if I miss you, you better come and hit me in the arm and tell me that, say hi, because I want to know that you are there, and I want them to know that I really, really appreciate them coming to my house.
Hi, my name is Bain, and I help out with the grade 6 to 8 youth group, and I'm proud to say that I still have my sanity. You wear a lot of hats in the youth ministry. Sometimes you feel like a bouncer, and you're patrolling the hallways with the youths there. Sometimes you feel like a driver, a cashier. Sometimes I feel like a teacher. Hopefully I do feel that. A counselor. Overall, I just try to be Jesus to the kids in that group. I want to be there for the kids and the teens of this church, and especially for my own kids, and to tell them that they're somebody and that with Jesus they can go the distance. God told me that in my own life, and I just want to pass that on.
I'm George Johnson. This is my daughter Emily. I'm a member of the Compass Point ministry. I deal with children's security every day. You want to take it from your side?
I help out on Wednesday nights with the Tree Climber Boys, Thursday nights with the Energize student group, and on Sunday mornings, various parts of the children's ministry.
We're here because we think it's really important to deal with kids, give them a good sense of belonging, give them a sense of continuity, and teach them good values that they have.
When I was in youth group, I had really awesome leaders, and I want to have that for other kids so that when they're my age, they want to come back and say, hey, I want to be a good leader for the other kids, and keep that torch going on, because one day they're going to inherit the world, and we want to make this world a better place.
So I met Braden when he was a baby back at Grace Chapel. Our families were very good friends, and I remember him when he was literally in his car seat. He was a very cute little baby.
So we like to hang out a couple times a month, and we do all kinds of different activities, different kinds of fun stuff. What kind of stuff do we usually do?
Oh, we usually watch videos, do activities together, and
What's our favorite restaurant to eat at?
oh yeah, I remember, that's Boston Pizza.
And we also do other things, like we go grocery shopping sometimes.
right? We do some baking. We bake muffins and all sorts of things. What did we have you doing last weekend?
You're helping us do some gardening work.
Yeah, I was doing some gardening work.
Yes, it was a good day for that.
We really feel that it's important to be able to work together, especially in church environment where we have this opportunity to interact with so many different kinds of different people at different ages and from different circumstances. And we love the chance to be able to hang out with Braden, and I hope he enjoys hanging out with us too.
We have lots of fun.
We do have lots of fun. That's right, we do.
We are Compass Point.
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 I'm talking to you. Come on.
Man, sometimes it's not easy being this imaginative. All right, let's hope this thing works. Let's give her a try. Oh, whoops, phone's ringing. Oh, Mom's home. Gotta go sing. Mamma mia, you. Who am I kidding? She's gonna love it no matter what. Should have gotten an iPhone.
I promise, I don't mean to be mean.
I know, Tyler. You just let the emotions get the best of you.
Hey, look!
Wow, that was fast.
Oh man, I hope this works. Can I test it out?
Don't see why not.
Oh God, please let this work. I really want to honor you and be responsible with my words. I don't want this to be a job. I want to be responsible with the people you've put into my life. I want to help mentor them and build them up. Okay, let's hope this works. Actually, could you walk around or something so I could comment on it?
Sure.
Thanks. Okay, action. Okay, Cammy, I need you to relax and walk like you normally do. I know you can do this. You're doing a great job. Whoa, it worked!
That's awesome. What did you actually say?
Well, I wanted to say, quit walking around like a deranged ostrich. You're going to scare all the children.
Oh, well, how nice.
But I didn't. It's I don't know. The megaphone word filter just changed what I was going to say.
Do I really walk like an ostrich?
What were we talking about?
Hey guys! Hey guys! Oh. Hey guys! Sorry I stepped out. I had to go deliver my Mother's Day gift.
Did she love it?
Well, she cried. That's good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Gordo, you're a genius. This megaphone word filter is amazing.
It works? That's awesome. Let me try. Cammy walks like an ostrich.
Hey!
I thought you said it worked.
Well, it did. At least, I think it did. I didn't say what I was thinking.
But it's supposed to change what you actually say, not what you think.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me...
Tyler, you chose kinder words on your own.
I did. I did. Wow, I guess just thinking about it so much forced me to actually think about what I should say.
That's awesome.
What do you
man.
know?
That's awesome.
Guys, could you maybe come help me find the cast? I think I have some apologizing to do. I need to set things right. I need to be the leader they need me to be. I need to influence them for good.
Absolutely, man.
Let's go.
What are you doing?
Do I really walk like an ostrich?
Cammy, you're talking to a guy that's just like a heart-shaped box of candy. Does it really matter?
Thank you for joining us this morning. I pray that your heart's been encouraged. I pray that you leave here this morning and that you remember to widen your circle, to invite others to sit at your table, and that we're responsible for one another. Let's just pray before we go. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together today, and I just thank you for every family represented here. I thank you that we all belong to your family. And I thank you that we can come together as a family of families and we can worship you and we can grow together and we can invest in each other's lives. I just thank you for your word that is just so alive and real, and I pray that it will encourage us today. And we just pray your blessing on everyone here this morning. In your name, amen. Okay, before you go, we always like to give out at a family service, we call them widgets. So this month's widget, and it's mainly for kids, but we're hoping you're going to think they're so cool that you might want one too. But they're these little bracelets, and one side says CP Family, and the other side says responsibility. So it will remind our kids about our virtue for the month, but if you want to take one as well, hopefully we'll remind you to pray and to care about our children and our students here at Compass Point. And also, for all our ladies here tonight, we have some very sweet, lovely flower hander-outers kids out in the foyer. And I just wanted to thank Marion Van Geest and her team for getting all these lovely flowers ready, so you can get one of those before you go. So thank you. Have a lovely day.